Hey guys, we are going over the notes for Unit 5 reproduction. Some of you may have taken these first notes in class, but I did want to start with this just in case anyone missed it. For humans, which we're going to use as obviously our main example for today, but we have two types of cells in our body, so body cells and sex cells. So today, you guys are going to take notes on mitosis and meiosis, which we have not done meiosis yet, so that will be new. But I'm hoping mitosis is a little bit of review. So anyways, we talked about body cells that go through mitosis, things like hair cells, nail cells, skin cells, brain cells, blood cells, etc. So things that are what we would call asexual reproduction, which means that it's only one parent and it makes copies of the cells. So, for example, if you get a haircut and you cut your hair, it will grow back because those cells are just duplicating through that process of mitosis. Sex cells, there are only two types. We have eggs, which are from females or girls, and then we have sperm, which is from males or boys. So those are the sex cells. So if you're a boy, you have sperm, and if you're a girl, you have eggs. When these two combine, that is called sexual reproduction. Okay, and that means that there are two parent cells. Okay, two parent cells that combine. All right, so I just wanted to review that since throughout the whole video, in the next couple videos, we're going to be talking about the difference between those. So I'm just going to kind of draw a little line to separate it. So we are going to start with mitosis. So this is Unit 5, lesson number 1, which is mitosis. So we're going to go ahead and get started with this. So our part 1 of our notes is our definition. And I know you guys are going to be doing vocab, so you are more than welcome to use my definitions or you can use the book definitions, but please do not go online and just Google it and come up with some very scientific thing that you don't understand. I'd rather you define it with something that you can understand and learn. So mitosis is a process of cell division. Now, when we say cell division, that usually, it sounds like it would divide or get smaller, but it actually isn't. It's actually when one cell is actually going to completely double inside. So it divides, which actually means that the number is going to go up. So it's cell division. Okay, that forms two identical new cells. Okay, it forms two new identical cells. So we start with one and then we go to two. Now, with those two new identical cells, they obviously have to have the same number of chromosomes. Okay, the same number of chromosomes. So, I'm going to give you a little drawing of an example that you guys can understand a little bit better. So we're going to talk about humans. So I'm going to give you guys an example. I'm hoping you guys already know how many chromosomes a human cell has since we went over this, but you may have forgotten. It's been a while. So let's talk about like a human hair cell. I don't know about you guys, but I desperately need a haircut, and it kind of stinks that the hair salons are closed. But if I were to cut my own hair, which would be a horrible, horrible idea, I would regrow my hair. So what happens is through mitosis, humans have 46 chromosomes. Okay, 46. So what happens is if one of my hair cells has 46, and I'm just going to write the number so it's a little easier to understand. If each hair cell has 46 chromosomes, we would call this the mother cell. Okay, that's the one we're going to start with. The mother cell is going to go through this cell division process called mitosis, and I'm going to end up growing, and it's going to multiply into two new identical cells with each 46 chromosomes. So we start with one mother cell, and then we come out with two daughter cells. Okay. Now this is what we call cell division. Okay. But what we kind of forget is that the number of cells actually doubles, which is key. It's actually going up. It's increasing in the amount, which is why your hair grows, why your nails grow, and things like that. Two new words that we went over before this whole extended spring break was haploid and diploid. So I just wanted to like Jones note this so it's easier. So we have this word diploid, which means that you have all of the DNA, so it's the full chromosomes. Haploid is when you get half the DNA. Okay, so hap kind of sounds like half, so that's how I typically have kids remember it, is hap and half. But diploid, these would be like your body cells, and haploid would be your sex cells, which makes sense, and you'll see why a little bit later. But basically, if one haploid cell is sperm and one haploid cell is an egg, then that would combine to give us the 46 body cells. So haploid cells would not have 46, but 23 plus the 23 with the sperm. And so then the 23 plus 23 equals the 46. Alrighty. So the next question, so I'm gonna go ahead and flip my page, and remember, you guys can pause the video to take notes. You guys can write them all and then re-watch it so that you can listen better. Whatever works for you guys. But I'm just gonna keep going here. Part 2 is gonna be, why do cells divide? Okay, why? So there's two main reasons why. So the number one reason is for reproduction. Okay, so cells that are what we call single-celled organisms are prokaryotic. So single-cell organisms are called prokaryotic. Those are things, we are not prokaryotic, we are eukaryotic. We have different types of cells, again, bone cells, hair cells, nail cells, sex cells, different things like that. Single-celled organisms are where the organism literally is made of just one type of cell. So that's how it can reproduce. So this is for what we would call asexual reproduction. And I'm going to abbreviate. Repro means reproduction. The number 2 reason, which is what we as humans, our cells go through mitosis for this reason, it's for growth, like our hair and nails, or also repair. So what that means is if you've broken a bone, if you guys have fractured something, what happens is it will repair it. Another example would be like a paper cut. If you get a paper cut, your skin is like sliced in half and it will regrow back together, and that's the repair process is mitosis. Those cells that are still there will keep doubling, and then it will fill in that gap. So this is for multi-celled organisms. So that would be like us, and we are considered eukaryotic. Those are fancy words that you'll learn more in bio when you're older, but I just wanted to expose you to those. So for example, for us, would be like hair cells. Paper cut healing. Your nails growing. Okay, broken bone healing. Okay. So that is why we go through mitosis. Another thing you guys need to know is what the genetic material is called. So the genetic material is basically those chromosomes inside of the cell. So basically we need to know what DNA is. DNA, I hope you guys remember what this stands for, but it is kind of a tricky word. So I'm going to spell it first. DEOXYRIBONUCLEIC, and then the word acid. It's deoxyribonucleic acid. So this is really important. You will probably see this on a quiz coming up. Hint, hint. Then we have these things that I usually draw like X's, and you will see it like that on your digital lessons and notes and things. These are called chromosomes. Okay, that is where your DNA is stored, is inside of these chromosomes. So your DNA is made of many chromosomes. Okay. I always like to think of mitosis too. These are just some little hints to help you remember this stuff. Mitosis has like a 2 in it, like TO, but I always like to think of that as 2 because we get 2 new identical cells. And then just a little reminder, just a little review before I go into the steps of mitosis in the next video. If humans start with 46, the cells are going to go through a cycle that we're going to talk about next, and we're going to get 2 new identical cells. Okay? And again, we're going to get those 2 diploid cells. Okay, we started with a 1 diploid cell, which means we have 46 of these chromosomes. Now, if you hear me say this word chromatid, that's half of a chromosome. Oops, sorry, you can't read that. Half of a chromosome, so it's going to look more like that. I'm going to draw that as a chromatid, and a chromosome is double that. Okay, so we're going to talk about that more here in the next slide. Now, the next slide, I would get some colors. We're going to color code. I'm going to be using pink and blue. You can use whatever 2 colors you want, but I do think walking through the process and going through it with colors is going to be super helpful. So stick around and get ready for the next video.